fender off. This wiring loom is pretty stupid. This thing is just too big to fit through the hole that's on the headlight thing, so it's probably the wrong way, but I just cut that bigger and it was pretty fast, and I don't think it matters that I did that. But here's a lot of rust on this part right above the fender. The fender itself is alright actually, but just this upper part, so it's going to be a lot of cutting. And hopefully not too much grinding. I don't want to cut through like this actual inner fender part, so I might just get some angle iron and put that up there. Should be alright. It's a little funky. I don't think it's perfectly straight. Okay, maybe it is. That makes things a whole lot easier if it is straight. So I'll probably do that later after I get the engine out and everything, but I definitely fix it before I put the fender back on. So now I'm just going to take off this fender. Hopefully I don't have to cut it. Maybe it'll come out the right way. Then we'll get everything else off and start taking the engine apart. So this is as far as I got tonight. Didn't record too much of it just because I'm running out. This thing has like 1 bar battery. But so basically got the whole front clip off, fenders, hood, the core support, and I drained all the coolant, so I think tomorrow I'll be able to pull the engine out. This is it for tonight. It's like 11 o'clock, and we're getting a little tired. But I'd say pretty good. It took me probably an hour and a half to get this far, just because I have a lot of rust. Day 2 of pulling the motor. This is as far as I got last night. I started at like 8 or 9 o'clock anyways, and kept on it until like 10:30. So this is the next day, and this is all the rust I have, but I'll probably be able to fix that. I don't know if I'll use angle iron or tube again, but we will see about that. So right now I'm going to be unhooking clutch lines and throttle linkage, heater core, the coil pack, or the coil, and just stuff like that, starter wires, battery cables, and that's pretty much all this thing needs to come out. I'm not really sure what I'm going to hook the hooks to. I'm thinking about somewhere right here. There's a bolt there, and then maybe a manifold bolt back here somewhere, because I'm taking the engine and transmission out together. Got my tractor in here to help me with that. So it pulled out the engine, or the Volvo that we had, and I'm actually not using this motor. It's a B234 dual overhead cam 16 valve. My brother's using this for his Opel GT, but I am not going to be using this one. Alright, here's the slave cylinder. It's pretty easy, just 2 bolts and it'll come right out, and then this, pretty easy. And then we got the speed sensor under here. You guys probably can't see that. And then just drive shaft stuff, but that's about it. Just got a lot easier. This thing was already broken off there, so I was driving it around with the slave cylinder just kind of pressed in there, but that bolt already broke off, so I don't have to do that part. Alright, so I got the drive shaft out, the speed sensor is out also, and now we have to do some engine stuff, and then I can lower the transmission and do a couple more things. Looks like I'm going to have to cut the exhaust off somewhere down there. It's a dual pipe to 1, so I'll just cut it when it's 1. That way it'll be easy to weld on another muffler for the next person that's getting this engine. And I will be selling this engine and transmission together, and probably the rear diff too. So I'll cut the exhaust off, and we'll be one step closer to getting this engine out. Custom engine hook puller thing, because the ones I had wouldn't fit. One of them fits, so I only need to make one of these. The other one I have connected up there. And then I'm going to have the other one connected on the manifold back there, and it should be alright. Now we can pull the engine out. Got the hoist mounts on there. I had to make a custom one because the one I had didn't fit, and it turned out pretty well. It's onto the manifold. We got this crossover chain, and then hook it to the tractor and lift it out. Engine and transmission together, hopefully goes pretty smooth. The only thing that needs to come out now is the shifter. Undo that nut and it should come out. A little tricky getting the shifter off. So you want to do that thing and the whole assembly comes out, and then there's a C-clip back here behind the main like shifter extension, and that's how you take that part off. I wanted to put the cap back on just because I didn't want it leaking everywhere. It'd be terrible, and I think we can fit it through there because we do have some movement, so we can. Shifter's actually pretty precise if you don't have the giant extension on it. Got the engine out and the little puny transmission. Wasn't too hard. I ended up having to take this shifter off because it was binding up in the hole. I could have just cut the tunnel, but that way I didn't have to destroy anything. We got all this room for more horsepower. Yeah. Thinking of putting a KA24 out of a 240SX dual cam and then turboing it. That's a front sump, so it requires a little cutting on this cross member, but I can do it. Right now I have a little bit more rust stuff to fix up here on the fenders and this piece, but did what I wanted to do, take the engine out, and I did that. That's all good. And I'll see you guys in the next one.